All right, hello everybody. I am Dr. Sarah Louie of Legacy Rehab and Performance, and today I want to explain to you what a labral tear is in a way that's so easy a fifth grader could understand it. Let's start with a little anatomy. So if we're looking at the hip joint, it is a ball and socket joint. The pelvic bones create the socket, and the very tippy top of our femur or our leg bone creates the ball. And the ball sits in the socket like so. The labrum is a fibrocartilaginous structure that sits on the inner surface of the socket, and it works to increase suction and congruency and helps that ball roll around in the socket as we move our leg throughout the day. Let's make it a little bit easier with a real life example. So let's think of a golf ball sitting on a tee. As the golf ball sits on the tee, it has that little suction area with the structure of it that allows it to stay on the tee. But what if we put a piece of rubber that lined that socket, and that would increase the suction even greater? Think of that as the labrum. A tear of the labrum is just a little tear anywhere along the surface of that rubber that is lining the golf tee. So if that golf ball is pushed off, or there's a little bit of force or a gust of wind goes by, that rubber is going to hold on to the golf ball to keep it nice and taut in there. But if it's pushed off too much and the structure of that rubber portion is torn, there's going to be less suction congruency at the golf ball level, and you might have it fall off the side. Now, in our hip, we have tons of other structures that are there keeping it nice and supported. So we have the hip capsule, we have our ligaments and our joints. So it's not going to fall out of the hip joint, but it might create this clicking, catching, popping that is a really common symptom of labral tears. So all in all, the labrum is a fibrocartilaginous structure that lines the socket of the hip joint. It works to increase the congruency and the suction of that hip joint itself, and if torn, can decrease some of that stability of the hip joint and create popping, clicking, catching, and it can create pain. Not always a pain generating structure, but it totally can. Guys, I hope that helps. I will be doing a ton of work on explaining the hip. So if this was helpful to you, feel free to like and then subscribe to my channel and comment if you have any questions.